if you look at the placards, guys, the invites that you have received, this entire event that we are conducting today is primarily all about how do we bring our consumers closer to a brand, or how does a brand work, in their respective areas, in their respective arenas, to get their consumers closer to their respective brands. And with that notion in mind, I would just like to open up a question to all the three of you. Sushant, you, as a CEO and the head of commerce at Health and Glow, how are you bringing your consumers closer to your brand? How are you doing it?
Hi everyone. I hope I'm audible. I think it's working.
Yes.
Great. A very broad question is, of course, I think the interaction of the consumer and the brand. I think that means at a very broad level, that is what defines what we do. But I would like to say a few things which we try to do from let's say a personalization or a segmentation point of view, right? Now, means we are into beauty products and cosmetics. Many of you will relate to that. Now, some of the very basic things which we could do to relate to a customer is, let's say, what category are you buying, right? As a customer, what is it that I can resell to you? What is it that I can upsell to you? What is it that I can cross-sell to you? I could do it based on geography, where you are based. A winter in north is very much different than a winter in south.
Absolutely.
Right. A summer in north is as much different, or a monsoon in Mumbai is as much different as anywhere else. So I could do some segmentation based on that. I could do some customer connect with you, that if somebody is buying, let's say, baby powder, or if somebody is buying, let's say, anti-aging, searching for anti-aging creams, I know that there is a certain segment to which that customer belongs, and I could possibly go and probably connect with her in that way. Right. While these are being, of course, done at various levels, some better, some we could do better, some there is a lot of improvement. But I think one critical thing that we would actually like to do is to customize it to a level of one, right? Like giving the customer, or let's say that this is for you, specifically as you as a customer, not as a group of or a cohort of customers, right? And for that we are doing something. We've actually done what we call as a skin expert. Right, it's on the app. Some of you can definitely try it out. Right, you have to answer some questions which ask you that what has been your lifestyle, how much time do you spend in sun, how much time, what kind of a job do you do, right? Very basic questions which anyone can answer, and then a selfie, and it analyzes that entire thing and it throws up a result. So effectively, what we are trying to do is personalizing the products, or let me not call it a product, let me call it a beauty regimen for that particular person.
Perfect.
Right? And I think that is what builds more and more engagement. If I'm giving something to you which is specific for you, I think the relatability with that brand becomes. The relatability of the brand, brand with the customer becomes quite deep, and I think that is what we are trying to achieve. And of course, around that, while we have started this, I think it's still in the initial stages. We are still in the infancy. I think trying to build that communication around, trying to prompt that customers or nudge that customers that you are missing out on some parts of your regimen, or this is what you need to buy again. Don't miss it out, right? Right? Are very common things, and I think some of the women folk here would understand, right? Day creams and night creams. People worry a lot about day creams, but most of the people think that night creams, raat ko sona hi to hai, why need it? I think it's an important part of the regimen, and I think these are some of the things which we are trying to build in, right? And given that, of course, I'm not sure Health and Glow is predominantly in South. A lot of people know of us in South. I'm not sure how many of you in Delhi would have heard about us, but we have been here for almost about 25 years. The company is 25 years old, and we built a lot of expertise, and I think that is what we are trying to bring out from this. Yeah, so I think that is one way in which we are trying to build that brand.
Awesome, Sushant. Moving to you, Rajat. A very similar question to you. At Fabindia, considering you have so many stores across the country and even outside, if I may say so, how are you bringing your consumer closer to your brand? What do you do? What is that that initiative and that motivation that you have? How are you doing it? How are you achieving it?
Hi everyone. So at Fabindia, we personally believe in growing a community together.
Okay.
So if you see, our experiences are more personalized. So we do some offline events that are towards the community. Like within the Gurgaon store, we did an event for a sustainable Rakhi making for the women and the kids. So that's what we do. And on the segmentation and the personalization front, not only just limited to communication, but for a user who's coming online, even we are into the fronts of developing or creating a experience which is personalized for a user, the whole web experience.
Okay.
So, for example, if I knew a particular segment of audience is interested into apparels or a certain set of products, I will create an user experience of the website which is totally articulated towards that without hampering the foundation of my website.
Beautiful.
So there are some tools that we use, and I would say that we were the early adapters of WebEngage, but there are some other tools that we use also for the articulated web experience, and Google is one of our key partners in that as well.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we do certain activities which are both online and offline, and I guess a personalized customer experience helps in
Perfect.
creating a better community together.
Perfect. I'll take a cue from your narrative. I'll come back to that particular point later on in the course of this entire session. Atul, coming to you at Shoppers Stop, how are you achieving this? You work with a very, very large scale. You are in a way tech driven. You are consumer driven. You are customer driven. You look at or you live in a dilapidated world where you have to coexist with your online and offline. How do you get your consumers closer to your brand? How do you do it?
Hi everyone. So the first step is primarily to identify the customer journey, right?
Perfect.
Because that's the fundamental to understand where does the customer lies. So taking a cue of an online, right? So what we try to do is basis the customers who falls in the customer life cycle, what sort of communication we can do across, right? Okay. So anyone who is a first time transactor, right, or first time user who is coming to the site and app, trying to either show a web pop-up or an app saying that hey, these are the best popular products for you, right? At the same time, anyone who is just about just have made a purchase, how can we just make sure that he ensures he comes back, right? So our analytics team has built up kind of different models, something like a market basket analysis, which primarily helps us to understanding what could be the next possible purchase, right? So now it could be surprising for us to it was very surprising for us to understand that something like a user, right, who's woman gender, who has bought maybe a kurta, right, the next possible purchase was maybe men's shoes. Now if you see in a normal scenario where we kind of target user that if this user has bought maybe only woman Indian wear or woman apparels, right, we kind of tend to, as a plain vanilla, tends to just send another woman category. But what we essentially found that this is set of different aspect that needs to come across, right? To give a simple example, like if you where we're trying to change the way simple like a card abandoned journey, right, which is very plain, as in where today normal ways that you just send maybe whenever user abandons a cart, you send an email or an SMS or a notification within 10 or 15 minutes and then followed by maybe one after a day, right? What we try to do is we try to identify what sort of user it is. If he is a first time user, then we check what is his cart value.
Perfect.
If he's a cart value is like more than that particular threshold, right, we might want to give an offer to them because he's a first time user, right? He just should come and first feel and experience our product.
Correct.
And if he's less than the threshold, we might choose not to give a discount to you. But at the same time, if he is a repeat customer, right, we go further, drill down and see if he's a champion or maybe he's a loyalist, right?
Okay.
Now these are a set of customers who already know about the brand, so you choose not to give a discount. But if he falls under maybe about to lose or he's a dead user who has not come back in the last 6 months, you want to give an aggressive discount. So that's how we are trying to map the journey and try to personalize the communication, try to ensure we give relevant discount, and at the same time we reduce the spend because we just do not want to give any discount to each and every person, right? So that's how trying to achieve trying to bring the customer experience closer.
Perfect. That leads me to my next question, and this is completely impromptu. One thing common in the three of you, the narrative was, you want to have a unified view of your customer. If I may ask, how for you at Shoppers Stop, for you at Fabindia, and for you, Sushant, at Health and Glow, how are you creating this unified view of your customer? How are you doing it? Yeah, you can take that question.
So if you see the customer base of almost we have about 8.7 million of the customer who are part of our first citizen program, right?
Okay.
So these are the customer who's been coming to our stores and buying online, right? So lot of data points has been collected. So in last 1 year we have worked on a data lake where you have collecting all the data points. It could be of course basic like a gender, the last purchase and what is the price point, what is the store, what have they bought, and everything.
Yep.
So these are some of the primary level attributes we have always collected.
Correct.
And basis where our analytics team have enabled to, as I mentioned, we have built a different model together. Just to give an example to you, right? Now, if you see a lot of times, this first citizen card is been kind of the primary holder of this first citizen card is always a male, right? But if you see what we identified was this particular user, right, whose primary holder is a male. He's also buying maybe something like maybe kurta or maybe a jewelry or beauty products. At the same time, he's also buying maybe a Hamley product, right? So now it becomes very, I would say it's not the right way to just send a communication to this user saying you only buy maybe a Tommy Hilfiger casual shirt. So hence we kind of derived different attribute which we call as maybe something basis of a life stage. So something like we tag this user as maybe a family with kids.
A family, yeah.
Someone who is buying only maybe again a primary holder who's a woman who's buying of course a beauty, but at the same time she's buying maybe a T-shirt of US Polo, right?
Correct.
We could tag that user as maybe a couple, like with no kids.
Wow.
And in case they are just buying maybe a woman or maybe only a male apparels or shoes, we tag them as a single or men or woman, right? Now, if you see now the level of targeting, because we all have this unified view, we could come up with this derivation and then create a new tag and send a communication. So now today when we communicate to our user, right? So now there is a festive season going on, right? So our email communication could be where we say, hey, why don't you buy maybe an ethnic wear because Dashera is coming, right? So you buy it for your for yourself, buy it for your wife, and maybe also kid. So that's how
possibility of a cross sell probably.
Exactly. So that's where instead of just sending a plain vanilla men's Apple campaigns, we send across this. That's how we leverage the
Perfect. I think that's a very good insight. Thank you so much, Atul. Coming to you, Rajat, how do you achieve this aspect?
I guess it's on the same segments which Atul has said, because both of the brands have the similar business models. What we do is we work closely with an analytics team to create segments of the users based on either their behavior, the purchase history, or how they are interacting with the brand on an omnichannel front. Be it stores, be it their online interaction on the websites. We create segments and then prepare our communication based on that. However, the only challenge what we get is sometimes the data gets too huge with all the permutation and combinations that we think that there is a need of somebody to step in and help us in identifying what are the potential firing segments for us.
And then create a complete funnel out of that aspect.
And then on the funnel creation side, I don't think there's much challenges. So we have been good with building up funnels. However, sometimes the data integration and segmenting the data and the data cleaning part gets a bit more tricky for us.
It becomes a little complex.
Yeah.
Good.
Most of the times, like Atul has mentioned, the cross-selling plays a major part. Plus, we focus on lifetime customer value. Like what's the lifetime value the customer is providing us rather than focusing on the average bill value.
Perfect. So that's a mandate. In today's time, and typically, if you look at what has happened in the last 2.5, 3 years due to the advent of COVID, consumer right now, the digital boundary, as we say, is to a certain extent blurred. All right. Why do I say that? Because a consumer interacts with you through an email, through a website, say for example, or through a dedicated native app or a non-native app. They also interact with you through multiple smart devices. If that is the case, all right, and I'm sure it would be quite apparent for all the three of you. How do you bring in and build the quotient of personalization for a consumer? Who would want to take that question first? Who wants to take that bet first? You want to take it, Atul?
So I completely agree. Right? So I think last post-pandemic, things have been a lot of disruptive.
Yeah.
The way consumption is happening is the journey has been completely non-linear. Right? So something like this. Just to give an example, like my mom, right, who would never have touched a mobile phone. Before pandemic, today is kind of not only just checking out YouTube videos, checking out maybe interacting on the WhatsApp chat because they have kind of group, and then she wants to buy something on something savvy.
Okay.
Like no one would have thought something like this, right? So a new set of audiences coming into picture, right? So it's very important for us as a marketer to capture those.
Okay.
Like a simple example, like whenever this kind of user comes to our property, right? Either you for display them through maybe maybe through a web pop-up, right, where you again show maybe a top or a popular product, assuming that you have through your for Google Ads you have maybe shown a shoes to that set of user.
Okay.
Ensure that you show the same web pop-up or maybe some personalizations on the site or an app over there. At the same time, user who is maybe spending maybe a few days or a few few times in our website and app, you show basis his past behavior. So it's very important to just capture this element.
Okay.
And then because today discovery is very important. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In morning sessions, even like Deepak mentioned, like the time span of your audience is is reduced a lot.
Correct.
So it's very important that we ensure what the customer is looking for, and then you ensure the discovery is there, and that's where basis the past behavior, basis understanding the maybe something like a different set of cohort, similar
that
cohort
you would like to create and
is
like
where
to focus on. Yeah.
you create a value for a customer. And of course, eventually you make him register and then use the push channels like email and then SMS to reach out to them. So I think that's the way this set of use I think you should target.
Good. Awesome. Thank you so much, Atul. Rajat, what's your opinion on that? How do you do personalization, considering the consumer is coming and interacting with your brand through multiple forays? How do you achieve it?
See, for us, it's like we identify the touch points that user has
Yep.
come across different channels before making a final purchase.
Yep.
And they can either be digital or through offlines, but we make sure we measure most of them. So for example, in a basic user journey, if we are using Facebook ads for awareness, we saw the person has liked the product, interacted with the ad, landed on the website, but has not made a purchase immediately. He's probably looking out for other options, where else it's available, whether it's available on a 3P marketplace or not, and what other mediums are there. Then there are a few set of customers who want to purchase offline on stores because they want to experience the product before making a final purchase with us. But we make sure that we are showing them what the new collection has been launched on digital platforms, because that's the, you can say, the fastest way to create awareness these days. So we show them the product, and we know that this segment of customers are people who will purchase products offline. So we make sure that since we are on stores are pan-India, we make sure whenever there are in a vicinity of 5 kilometers of radius within our stores, we show them the same ads with the same products they have interacted and encourage them to shop on stores as well.
Okay.
And we get those data of people who have seen our ad and actually shopped at stores and how many purchases were there.
Oh, wow.
And we use that data to create more segments of those particular users.
Okay.
So we make sure on each touch point how user is interacting. For an SMS, they are more transactional, whereas on emails, they can be more of informational and transactional as well. So based on the user interaction with our platforms, we personalize the experience whichever they seek with us.
Okay. Great. So, this rings a bell in my mind. Both of you, because considering your business is quite, similar in nature, do you think the concept of digital twins exists in your industry? Then I'll come to you, Sushant, on the earlier question. So do you think that a customer for you online is equally important for a customer who's going offline? As rightly said by Sushant in the previous question, do you think the concept of digital twin exists or coexists for you, both of you? And then I'll come to you, Sushant.
Definitely, I think so. As a customer, eventually he might want to buy an offline, right? You want to go to stores, right?
Yep.
But his journey definitely starts online, wherein he might want to check out. He might search something on Google, or he might check out videos. He might watch some reels on Instagram, right? So he definitely starts online for sure.
Okay.
At the same time, it's very important, especially for Shopper Stop, right? Today almost our 40% of our online sales comes from the first citizen customers.
Particularly.
Particularly, right? So these are people who are coming to store, and it's very important that this set of customers not only has a seamless experience offline, but also online. So it's very important for us to give that best of experience to them. Just to give an example, right, for wherein any user who might just, go to the stores, right, for some reason, he or she does not get a size of that particular maybe shoes or maybe a jeans or something. There are always a store, a staff over there who might just help them to come, to come digitally. They open an app, show that, hey, don't just leave us, right? You can just still, we can get it delivered for you.
Correct.
You buy from that particular like a small tab, and then it will get delivered to your home within like whatever day,
Awesome.
couple of days or something.
Awesome.
So that's the reason, as a customer, he or she might not. For him, it's an experience. Either it could be an online or offline. It's up to brand like us. We just ensure that we deliver to them on both the platforms.
Great. What's your opinion about that, Rajat? How do you do that?
I'm totally aligned with Atul. So we think that the customer who is either shopping with us online or offline holds the same value and adds the same value to the brand as well. So we don't differentiate between an offline customer or an online customer.
Or an online customer.
Okay. We think that it's a whole ecosystem that works in sync.
Okay.
So that's a whole ecosystem. Either the sales are happening online or even the offline conversions that are happening for us. So the customer onboarding with us. Some point he has touched a base digitally with us.
Okay.
And that's my opinion on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rajat and Atul. Sushant, coming to you on the previous question, considering you'll have a barrage of SKUs within your entire product portfolio, how do you bring in the quotient and how do you build that quotient of personalization? How do you do that? How do you achieve it?
See, one is, of course, as I think both of them also spoke about buying behavior. What is the customer purchasing?
Okay.
Right. I would like to add one more perspective here, which is today, if we look at the customer touch points, and I think you also mentioned that in your question, I think they have become huge. Right. I was, let's say, fortunate, or some of you might call old enough to be in a place where we used to send physical mailers, right? The snail mail that we used to say they used to go for cross-selling, or other was telecalling, which was as intrusive as it is today, right?
Correct.
But today, if you see the touch points, it has become social media. Within social media, there are so many of them. If you look at, there is email, there is OTT, there is television,
WhatsApp,
right? There is WhatsApp, SMS is also there, although people don't use it, but financial transactions still come on SMS, right?
Correct.
And then the number of devices through which people interact with these.
Correct.
Right? These devices could be a phone, it could be a tablet, it could be a desktop, a laptop, or it could be even a television. I would say that it's a combination. When we are doing a segmentation, has to be in terms of SKUs, inventories. It has to be in terms of the customer profiling. It also has to be in terms of what kind of channels do I reach out to the customer with.
Okay.
Right. And I think this is what ideally I would say that we're just scratching the surface. Segmentation, while yes, initially it starts with, let's say, we start doing it in Excel, then one day, then some mistake happens or some wrong segmentation, then we say that, okay, let's do it through SQL.
Okay.
Then we try to automate it more and also. Of course, we have reached the stage, we have moved beyond those stages. But I think ideally, I would say that the critical or the challenging thing is to get that segmentation right, which has to be dynamic as well.
Correct.
Right. How does the customer move from one segment to another? Has she moved? Has she not moved? What do I need to do to prompt that customer to move? And I think for that some point, of course, these are very big words to use, AI, ML, like what we would want.
I was about to come to that.
Yeah, that is somewhere where we would want to go.
Yeah.
But I think still, I would love to say that we do AI, ML, but I think we just scratch the surface.
That takes me to the question that I posed them. How do you manage, or does the concept of digital twins exist in your industry particularly?
Oh yeah.
Or is it a misnomer
in
any form?
See, I think you could of course call it various ways. I would like to only put it that way, that today if I treat a customer as she's an offline customer, she's an online customer, I'm going to lose out on a lot of wallet share of the customer. Right?
Yeah.
And fortunately, what COVID has done is it has accelerated the digital adoption.
Correct.
What would have taken probably 7 to 10 years has got accelerated to maybe 3 to 5 years, right?
Correct.
Now today, if I say that, okay, this customer is only offline for me, for online she is going to go to my competition. Right?
Absolutely.
If I say that, okay, this customer is only online for me.
Correct.
For offline, she is going to go to my competition.
Perfect.
And I would say that if I am breaking the customer as online only or offline only, I tend to lose the wallet share and at some point maybe even the customer. Because
Correct.
somebody is going to come and do it much better. They'll say that I have a unified view of you and you come and buy it from me.
Correct.
So I think digital twin or whichever way you call it, I think it is extremely imperative.
Okay.
Means if we do not do it, I think it is not.
I
right.
think you're going to, if you don't go that way, you will lose your competitive edge. Eventually. Good. That takes me to a very important aspect, which is a little away from this, because we're talking a lot about unification of data, a lot about Omni, a lot about how do you want to understand your prospect, your customers. Now, moving a little ahead from there, again, a question to the three of you. Do you think service plays an important role in each of your segments, particularly for Sushant, for you? Do you think service plays an important role? And when I say service, I mean post-sales. I mean, you have done the sales, but do you think service plays an important role?
See, I would say that service plays an important role even at the sales point of view. And I'll very briefly cover that and then come on to the post-sales. Right? During sales, and I think some of you will be able to relate to it. Just take an example of a customer walking into the store. You walked into a store.
Yeah.
Right? And I get 5 people behind you that buy this product, buy this product, buy this product.
Correct.
Some of people might like it, saying that, oh, I got assisted, I got to know about so much of thing. Somebody might say that, no, hold on, I'll find out what I want to do. Another scenario where you go into the store, people are watching, but nobody's coming, and you might say that, oh, good, I was able to shop in as I wanted, or you might say that, oh, I was there, but nobody came in also. Right? So I think that element of service becomes very important. Now, there is no right or wrong answer that I'll say that, okay, for this profile of customers, we need to give them assistance. For these, we do not. I think it's something that the store assistants have built over a period of time.
Correct.
Which they would do. So I think service becomes important there as well. If somebody is not able to buy it, what is it that I can do to aid that purchase, right?
Perfect.
It becomes a little bit more difficult in online.
Perfect.
Right? Online, there is no interaction, and the competition is just a tab away.
Okay.
So is there a way where I can prompt it? Can I do some chats there? Can I do chatbot there? Can I give them some prompts? Can I give them some educational videos? Right? That's what I would say that is a service, if I may call it, which you are trying to do.
Particularly pertinent to your industry. Right. I can understand. Absolutely.
Post sales, of course, it is important. Somebody might come and say that, okay, one of the very basic things, which is that, okay, I don't think this product was what I intended, what I bought it for, right? Or this is not what it suits me. And I think it is. See, there are many products for which we do not take returns because there is a hygiene. For a lipstick once opened, there is no way we can take it a return, right?
Okay.
Because it cannot be resold for sure, right? And then we don't know what state it is in. So some of these we do not take returns, where customers definitely. Of course, if it's a wrong product, damaged product, we do that.
Then you probably would take
right?
a return.
But yeah, if there are genuine cases where, let's say online shades definitely differ. For example, if the shades are very close, or if you see some of the blues and greens, or if you see some of the reds and let's say mauves or those kind of colors. So I think in such cases we definitely do that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's as important. Means if the customer is happy, and I would say that a customer who complains, and if we have, I think there was a book, I forget the name. A complaint is a gift.
Okay.
Right? If you solve the complaint of a customer well, the customer comes back. If you do not, I think we lost her forever.
Awesome. Customer is the king. What about you, Atul? How do you think service plays an important role in your segment, in your industry?
Definitely, I'm saying consider the fact that if people tends to, like for example, for offline, right? People tends to come to stores, buy things, and then so compared to it might be easy on offline because post making a purchase, they might again come back to the same store, and then maybe they might just complain about what like we did not get this size or something, right? Could be difficult for online because online if you do not get that particular you did not revert back in that particular tag, people tends to just post it on social media, right? So it's very critical, especially on online, to have that after sales service or service part over there. And that's where making it's very easy for a customer to for example, in terms of returns or in terms of exchange, it's making easy for them to do that. It's very important.
Correct.
If you just make them kind of wait or do not attend that, it's only going to cause harm to the brand.
Correct.
So and at the same time, service could be one element. At the same time, the way we give an experience altogether.
Absolutely.
During the buying behavior itself.
Thank you so much for giving me the cue to the next question. But go ahead.
That's matter because because for a customer it's a brand. It's not an online offline, right? So there has been cases where a coupon code did not work, which was supposed to work online, right? and the customer end up going to the store saying ye coupon code nahi chal raha hai. So having that seamless experience where what is going online needs also be communicated to the store managers, and they should be aware of what is running online.
Okay.
There is no disparity. It's very critical, and that's where the service level things comes to it.
Perfect. Rajat, you hold a contrary view or a similar view?
See, I believe whatever during sales, whatever makes the decision making easier for a consumer is something very critical for us. And post sale, I would term it as an experience rather than a service.
Okay.
So I think that post sale experience is what really matters to the customers. And I'll give you a very real life example. So a couple of months back, we did a campaign where we were offering certain discount on customization of curtains and blinds.
Okay.
3 days before, somebody ordered the same set of the offer, without the offer, the curtains and blinds from our stores. She saw the ad during the campaign, rang us and told us that I was not given this offer. We tried that. This was launched 3 days after. But she was very keen to get the offer. It didn't even take us a minute to give the customer that offer that we were running. Because we are very clear that customer experience, or you can say the services post sales, we really take it seriously, and that's what builds great community.
Yeah, you thrive. Your industry thrives on service. I absolutely agree. This takes me to a very important question. Do you think engaging your consumer, your prospects, your customers, they're coming from multiple forays of mediums of interaction with your brand? Do you think engagement platforms really provide a meaning? They really give a bump to your top line or to your bottom line, if I may say so. Does an engagement tool really help you? Sushant, you want to take that first?
Yeah, I would say, of course. I think an engagement tool, it eases what we would have to. It's like that build versus buy approach, right? If you have to build it in-house, can we do it? Yes, possibly yes. But at what cost, at what time, right? But there is somebody who's already solved that problem.
Okay.
Right. So I think it definitely helps in having these engagement platforms which help. One important thing that they help, and it's an old marketing cliche, right? That only 50% of our marketing spends work, but we don't know which 50%.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And I think the one way to solve that conundrum is to see that, okay, how much data, what kind of data do we have? What kind of data analytics do we have? And I think when these engagement platforms give us that data, is when you cannot, of course, make it that 100% sure that, okay, 100% of my marketing spend is doing this.
Is justified and giving you a return on investment.
Maybe screw that 50-50 to maybe 60% where we know what is working, or maybe 70% where we think what is working and not what is not working.
Correct.
So yeah, I think definitely.
And engagement platforms really make a difference. Yeah. Awesome. What about you, Rajat?
Yeah, same opinion. I guess engagement platforms, when user is engaging with a brand, it creates a great recall in their head. So that might not impact their immediate purchase decision, but somewhere down the line, when they are thinking about purchasing something and comparing two brands, a sense of engagement really impacts the decision.
Okay.
Again, there's no measurability to it, but like Sushant said, 50% of your marketing spends work and 50% does not. We don't know which 50% it is.
Correct.
But creating a top line funnel for the brand, engagement, I guess, going forward, and today as well, is going to be a key player in that.
Good. What about you, Atul?
Yeah.
Do you think engagement platforms really create a useful use case for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think engagement platform is a crucial part of the as a retention marketing for sure. I think it's how it enables us to first identify that gap. Because today, even if we might just get, for example, the website traffic or the funnel through maybe Google Analytics, right?
Yeah.
But identifying which is this user, right? Who is going from like point A to point B and to point C. That's where the engagement tool comes to the picture, where we know that this user who was browsing something maybe on 7 days back now has registered. He has given his detail, and now he's on the path of maybe making a transaction.
Okay.
So clearly the engagement tool kind of facilitates that. Okay. So that's one point. Second thing is also from the communication point of view. So today a lot of complex journeys which were not possible.
Correct.
Right. So where the communication was been sent from in silos, where same database is being uploaded on a different channel, which is maybe for an email and SMS and notifications.
Correct.
You reach out to the same user through 3 different channels. how about that's where an engagement tool comes to picture, where it identifies.
And then
which
you
is
see the
best.
first unified view of your
Unified
buyer.
view.
What are they buying? From where are they buying?
Yeah, what's the
beautiful.
preferred channel to touch base that user, create a complex journey, something the example I gave for the cart abandoned journey, right?
Correct.
So definitely it helps a lot.
Okay.
Not only of course to reach out, definitely at the same time reduce the spend, and also reduce the manual hours, because a lot of time and then effort has been spent across on getting things aligned, which is in silos, which can be done easily through an engagement tool.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Atul. This brings me to my last question, and then I'll probably open it for a Q&A to the audience if anybody has any questions. All the three of you, do you think customer experience, I think we heard Kapil, Deepak, we heard Smita, we heard all of them talk about and emphasize on customer experience. Do you think customer experience is really, really the need of the hour? Well, I don't debate on the points that they shared earlier, but yeah, I think the audience would like to hear it from the three of you. Does customer experience really, really, really create or is the need of the hour at this moment? Sushant?
Yeah, of course. I think I wish I could have answered it in one word, which is a capital yes. But let me just maybe see. There are two approaches, right? One is transactional.
Yes.
You come to the store or website, you buy it, and get done with it.
Correct.
Whether you come or not is left to you, which is
correct.
Which is like leaving a lot of things out to chance or probability. The other one is that when you come in, right, I've tried to understand what exactly do you want, right? I've tried to understand what problems, let me say, what are your beauty goals or skin goals, right? Okay, I have a dry, I'm not talking about myself. I don't know, right? I dry skin. I want to look my skin to look glowing, right?
Yes.
What is it that I can help you out with? Did I help you in that journey? I think that is extremely important. If I have done that once, I think next time the customer would be tempted to come back. Correct. Rather than making it transactional that this is 10% off on this, buy one, two, buy 20% off, buy two, so please buy two.
Correct.
I think that becomes very transactional. It is not a very long term, or it is not a sustainable one. So yeah, I would like to say yes, it is.
It is an important aspect. Great. What about you, Rajat?
I mean, there are no second doubts on that. It is one of the key aspects to look at while whatever you are doing. You're launching a product or you planning to scale up in the market. The one thing that everybody talks about is a customer experience.
Correct.
Like during sales, post sales, what are they? Like even if you take a example of two of the retail companies which offer deliveries in a certain time span.
Yeah.
So we have seen that offering a 9-minute delivery and actually fulfilling them has been what they are focused on. And it has impacted my decision in a certain way. I'm a pro user of a particular brand, but I still order groceries from a particular brand because I know I'll get in 9 minutes.
Okay.
So I think that these small things play a key role while either it's a transactional decision or how user wants to engage with your brand. So
and how do you want to retain your customer, or you want to lure them away from your competition? What about you, Atul? Do you have a similar view?
Yeah, definitely. I think giving the best customer experience is not a choice. I think so it has become a norm for all the marketers for sure.
Yeah.
Same the example which today Deepak gave, right?
Correct.
The moment he he reached the airport, there was a WhatsApp message says there is a notification. Even I thought it's a Lee Meriden who has arranged it.
Correct.
But yeah, so that's the level of experience you would want. You have to give a wow experience to your customers, right?
Yeah.
Let me just give an example, like something which we should try to deliver to our first citizen customers of Florida. So this particular during the Valentine Day, we just thought of giving something. Doing something very interesting where we just thought of how about we talk about relation between the shopper stop and the most loyal customer.
The most loyal customers that you have.
So what exactly we did is we created a video which was been sent to almost 1.2 million of most loyal users.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
It was personalized to a level where for example, you get an SMS, you click on it, it goes to landing page, and then a video plays where it says, hey, hi Harminder. This is the first time we visited a store in a Delhi location. It's been almost 6 months. We have not come. These are your favorite categories.
Okay.
This is last date of your purchase, and since then there has been a lot of changes.
Okay.
Why don't you just come back? And then there was personalized offer, right? So this was been sent to almost this 1.2 million users, where it was personalized to every user.
And you got the hyper personalized, personalized.
Exactly,
route.
it was like
Perfect,
hyper personalized campaign where
Perfect.
we saw almost like a 20% jump in the ATV. Right?
Perfect.
So I think that these are the smaller campaign. I'm just an example, right? But this is what it gives a wow experience to the customer, right?
Correct.
These are the small elements, like the example I gave of Make My Trip, and this ensures that you stay in the brand stays in the customer's mind. So yeah, it's very.
Thank you so much. I would like to open the forum to the audience. Any questions? Anybody? Yes, Ken.
Hi, my name is Shelly Bhasin, and I'm founder of Crux Creative Solutions, and I run a digital marketing company too. So my question is almost to three of you, all the panelists, especially Atul, to begin with you, because Shopper Stop everyone knows, right? Right from when I was young, and the age that I've reached. So like in terms of getting a repeat customer, like in your marketing journey, which is the most like useful platform that you feel from your data collection resources, which works for your customers, right? Whether it's email marketing, whether it's through WhatsApp marketing, or is through like YouTube ads or whatever, which platform has been like successful for you, three of you, for different business models? Because I believe Fabindia is different from Shopper Stop, because Shopper Stop has many offerings. So though he's been saying it's the same model, but I don't think it's the same model. It's a very, very different category for me as a consumer. And of course, Health and Glow is a totally different business again, because we are talking about cosmetic, anything related to skin. And yes, women are conscious about night creams too. This is what I like to add on
glad
here.
to know that.
So
Thank
yes,
you.
so Atul, you can help me to answer this.
Sure. So there is no particular channel, which I would say, which is kind of help us to grow, right? I think it's it's a collaboration of all the different channels. As I mentioned earlier, it's all about how you give an experience from the start of the journey to the end, right? The moment a user comes to download the app, or he or she comes to the website, you show different type of the offerings to user. The moment the user comes to, maybe he drops off from PDP, you retarget them through maybe an email, maybe through push notifications. If he still doesn't come back, you show me do a Facebook custom audience, right? I would say it's a collaboration of all the channels which gives us the edge, and then not a particular channel, because and that's where as I mentioned, the engagement tool comes into the picture, where identify which is the channel which is where across the funnel the user has dropped, and then you target them.
But still, from your experience, like I believe you must be having enough data which must have been analyzed by now. Like if you have to rate, how will you rate?
So today our push notification tends to give the major revenue. That's a major driver. A lot of work has happened and is in the progress on building a better user interface for mobile, and that's the reason we want to ensure that the user experience is seamless and it's good. People should just come stay on the app basis his or her past behavior. We try to touch base with them again and again, and that's we want to build. Again, it's a work in progress, and that's we kind of collaborating with WebEngage for that. But I as I said, push notification is what gives us the major driver.
Right. Thank you.
But I think going forward, it's going to be across all channels.
Thank you so much, Atul. Any more questions? Anybody? Yes, the gentleman here.
If we divide marketing on a high level, there's brand marketing and performance. So most of the performance marketers that I have been working with, that their focus is, let's say, we are doing this optimization, we're getting this kind of an ROAS and all. But how exactly a brand should invest in brand marketing, and what kind of difference you have seen with the brand marketing efforts on your performance side of numbers?
See, in my personal experience, I believe both the teams work in a sync. You cannot say that, okay, we are from the brand and marketing team, this is a different team, and the performance team is a different team. While it's apt to say that performance is more towards your value orientation, whereas brand and marketing team plays an important role to create the top of and the mid of the funnel, that we further in performance marketing leverage that to get the transactional value of a user. So I guess both the teams work in sync, whereas brand and marketing helps us to create and identify the top of the funnel users, whereas in the later part, performance marketing fits in, and that's where we play of converting the users with us.
Thank you, Rajat.
like a small point to add, like, so
Please.
even in Shoppers Stop, right, what we tend to do is, in case there is a campaign, if you see across India, because there are different culture altogether, right? For example, take an example of Pujo, right, which is quietly dominated in the eastern part of India, right? So what we try to do is we can try to do like a 360 marketing, right? So whenever a new campaign has been launched or a new a brand needs to be launched, right? It's more of a 360 wherein every team sits down. There is a brand team, there is a PR team, there is a performance marketing team, there is a retention team who sits together, understand what are the target audience, and then they just bang this go across and then promote across all the channels. That's the way to do across.
Only one quick point I'll add in the interest of time, right? Today, brands can be discovered, like a lot of people discover brands on Instagram as well. I'm sure many of you would have discovered some brands on Instagram which you never knew. Right now, I would say that I think the differences are getting a little blurred. With even a performance marketing can do, and I think Rajat was also mentioning, a top of the funnel has to be a brand. Now, whether you bring customers through Instagram or you build them through, let's say, a TV ad or a press ad, it is effectively brand. What I'm trying to build is people know about it. It definitely gives an additional impact. More your brand is known, probably it will do better in driving direct traffic or even organic traffic. So I think that is how I would very quickly add one point. Maybe one point to what you mentioned, right? If a customer is already in the system, I would ideally like to reach out to her without spending much money, right? It would be a more customized communication, because if you have once bought it from that particular brand, I would like to go like maybe a WhatsApp communication, or maybe a very personalized email communication, or maybe a very personalized push notification, right? I would avoid for a repeat customer to go to and ask them to see a video on YouTube and then come, or maybe go to an Instagram and come, right? Very quickly. That's what
No, absolutely. That's a very, very valid point, Sushant. Thank you so much. Any further questions from the audience, or we can wrap it up? All right. Thank you. Thank you to the lovely audience. Thank you, Sushant. Thank you, Rajat. Thank you, Atul, for taking your time. Thank you.
Thank you.